Hello and welcome everybody to another episode on F123. This time it's going to be a little different. We're going to be going over Loha's or Derpish's F123 cheat table. And as you guys can see, we have a fresh new My Team career mode save file to do this. I don't want to ruin my save file. I'm halfway through season 2. So I don't want to end up ruining that save file by accident by going over this cheat table with you guys. The cheat table information is going to be in the description. There are 2 Discords that I am in that I know of that have that information that you guys can download, as well as a link to the race department file that has the same download file, as well as a README. We're going to be going over that README. I have it here on my screen, and we're going to be going over it with you guys today, step by step, and I'm going to be sharing my experience and as much information that I can, because I know some of the stuff that I haven't tried to use may or may not work with you guys, but as of right now, it is 12/15/2023. As of today, the cheat table still works, and we're going to go into the ins and outs of the cheat table as best as we can. Alright, so at this point, you guys most likely have your cheat engine installed as well as the cheat table. You guys can go ahead and open the cheat table by the folder that it is in, and the README that we're going to be going over is in that folder as well. So you're going to open that cheat table. It's going to pop up in Cheat Engine like so. You guys are going to go ahead and hit the box there on the top left. I'm going to go ahead and open up mine. So you guys are going to hit this glowing box, this highlighted box up here. There's going to be a menu, a process list that pops up. Make sure you guys find F123.exe. It's going to be above your Steam files. You're going to go ahead and click open. A confirmation message will pop up. You want to keep the list and code. You're going to hit yes on that, and then your information here will fill in. And then after that, you guys are going to go ahead and click on this box here on the left side. And if it works, your screen will change, as well as the Lua engine box coming up. That's basically telling you that the cheat engine application is working properly. Parts of this, you want to open it before you open your save file, but most of the time you're going to want to be in your save file that you want to do. So that's why we're in this save file. First up is your database tools. You have your extra qualifying option and practice. You guys are going to want to set these before you go into your save files. Extra qualifying enables 12-minute qualifying for selections. So what I've noticed is qualifying times go down farther you go. So qualifying 3 will be like 10-minute qualifying by default. Your practice override. Scaling from 0 to 1 will allow specific 30-minute and 60-minute practices to be either 30, 45, or 60. 60-minute override has a value of 13 on here, which I believe... Go ahead and go in here. I don't know where... I believe it's the address. I don't quite know. I haven't experimented with it, so I wouldn't know. I just know that you can click on the Enable Disabled and change that accordingly. Your game mode specific entries. You have your reading backup script, which is in career mode. That's this green button. So anytime you guys are messing with driver ratings, you can go ahead and reset them with that. Let's see. Restore your driver ratings. Store drive. The file will be a backup game mode _ copy number .stat file. It's a text file. And then restore your ratings, change the backup file's copy number value to the letter R before running the backup script. Backup files from a fresh save are included in the file folder. So if you guys were wondering what those other files were, those are fresh start files. Your next up is going to be your default rating on the driver. So we're going to be going into Entrants, and then we'll go to Alfa Romeo and Valtteri Bottas. So your ratings here. Your online rating is for game updates, and their offline rating is for like your My Team or driver career mode. So Your rating editor. Ability to change the driver's rating growth curve period of 10 seasons, where one full season results in a roughly 0.1 time value. So in order for that, so in your career modes, you guys will be using offline. Say Valtteri Bottas, right? Say you want to increase his pace. You'll go to one of your growth points, click on the minus, it'll open up, and then your rating, your float rating, you can change that. So 76.76 is your, I believe it's a multiplier, I don't quite know. You can change that value, and I believe this value as well. The box won't pop up, and then it'll change over time throughout a season. So if you want to see a person's pace, like they're good in qualifying, they're bad in qualifying, but they're good in the race, you can definitely do that. So take Logan Sargent, for example. You can max his pace out. By the end of the season, he'll be doing better in qualifying. Your driver Acclaim is up next. It's this box here. All you have to do is go ahead and click on this number, and it'll change. So we're going to go ahead and go to Valtteri Bottas in Alfa Romeo. You guys can go ahead and ignore... I have my team name changer on, so that's why the names are different. So we're going to actually need to go to corporate. Driver market, Valtteri Bottas Sauber. So you can see his rating is 12. And then we're going to go ahead and go back into our cheat engine. Or actually, no, sorry. I forgot to show you guys. So we're going to go ahead and go down to Valtteri Bottas. I'll move the cheat engine. You see rating of 12 for Valtteri Bottas. I'm going to go ahead and back out and then back to the cheat engine. And we're going to go ahead and change this amount. Let's say 56700. You see the number changed. And the easiest way for you guys to update your stats, go into R&D, click on any of the four, and then back out. You see that saving game pop up there on the top left. That's basically how you quick save your file. We're going to go back to corporate, go back to driver market, and then look at Valtteri Bottas. So now his rating is up to 13, almost 14 with that Acclaim change. So that's how you adjust your driver's Acclaim. Your market status, taken from the unretire script from F122, setting this value to available should make retired drivers visible in the market. So Fernando Alonso, say he retires in your career mode in season 1. After the second season starts, you can change him to available in this next menu. So the market status, you can just click that, click the drop down, change it to back to available, and you will see him in the free agent tab. So we'll come back to this free agent tab here in a little bit. Customization, it's data for your driver. So I haven't really messed with this. The custom number, if you have custom helmets, you can go in there and change it. Having custom set to 0, and then having custom set to 1 will have slots value. Use helmet designs from players' customization locker. And I don't know if that is, I don't know if that means the this clothing and emote. I don't know if it means by this. So I haven't experimented with it, so I wouldn't know. I'm gonna show you guys. So the customization locker that it's talking about is most likely the clothing and emotes section for other drivers. So I don't know. You guys can experiment with that if you would like. Next up is your driver ID. It's gonna be this menu here. So say you didn't want Valtteri Bottas, right? You wanted to change him to someone else. You click on the swap ID. The value drop down will pop up. I'm sorry you guys can't see this. Click the down arrow and you can select who you want to swap that driver with. If they have a little star at the end of the name, they need a face swap. That will be in the description below. It's also in the Discords as well, as far as I know. But let's say we want to change Valtteri Bottas to Sebastian Vettel. So we click on Sebastian Vettel, hit OK. You can see he changed to Sebastian Vettel. And I believe with the swap ID, you still need to update their driver numbers. So you can see it's still 77 from you can still see that 77 from Valtteri Bottas. But the thing with that, with the driver ID stuff like that, you can go into the R&D and update the save. But in order for it to work properly, so we go to corporate here, right? We go down the driver market, and you can see Sebastian Vettel is not here. We'll go over to standings. You see that the driver count dropped to 21. So the best time to do these transfers, these driver transfers, is at the beginning of the season, after the contract period. That way you're not messing with any in-game. If you try to do transfers while the contracts are going off, then you're most likely to hard lock your save file. But since we're on the My Team Career mode, it's showing that we only have 21 drivers, means that it's working properly so far. So Sebastian Vettel will pop up in Alfa Romeo, or the team that you select once you guys hit first practice on the timing sheets. So when I did my transfers, I transferred Callie Mayer, Aiden Jackson, and Mick Schumacher. So I would have had 17 drivers on the standings list, and then they all popped up in first practice. So that was a successful driver transfer. And the swap ID is only one way you can do the driver transfer to. Your team ID is up next. I'm gonna go ahead and pull that cheat engine back up. Your team ID. So this is a manual team transfer. So like say you're mid-season and you want to change them. So like say someone gets hurt, right? I also do this to verify game files. So you can change them to a different team. We're gonna go ahead and experiment, change Sebastian Vettel to my team. But that leaves Alfa Romeo. You can see up here Alfa Romeo with 3 drivers. So we're gonna go ahead. This is your manual transfer. So we're gonna go ahead and go to free agent. We're gonna go ahead and find Valtteri Bottas again. Or wait, no, we're gonna find another driver. Let's say Callie Mayer, right? Well, Callie Mayer, reassign team, hit the drop down, and then we'll go Alfa Romeo, and then hit OK. That moves her up to Alfa Romeo. And since we did another driver transfer, that should move our default driver off of our team. And like I said, we're going to go into R&D, update your save file, back out, and then go into standings. And then, actually, I don't know. That didn't pop up. We're going to go ahead and advance a day, see if that'll help. So if you advance your days, that will also update the save. Liam Lawson. So yeah, that is your manual transfer. I don't know if that's how it works necessarily, but you can see that it didn't work properly because Sebastian Vettel, Liam Lawson is still showing on our My Team instead of getting rid of him. And I believe, yeah, so Joe Granu is still showing up as the Alfa Romeo. So we're gonna go ahead and I click on the wrong button. We're gonna go ahead and change Sebastian Vettel back over to Alfa Romeo and Callie Mayer back to free agent. So if you guys do have the extended edition of F123, you will get the breaking point characters. So Ackerman, Mayer, Butler, and Jackson. So we're gonna go ahead and reassign team, hit your drop down, and free agent. Where is it? There it is. That way we'll move him back out. And then it should go back. Well, it shouldn't change at all if we went through there. Oh yeah, 21 drivers. So that is how you do your reassign team. When you reassign your team, you're going to want to make sure you reassign your car and your garage slot. So I believe that's part of it as well. That's why I didn't want to go through it all. since we are running into at least 15 minutes so far on the recording. Let's see, team ID, we just explained that a little bit. And then car ID. So car ID, your active drivers are cars 0 and cars 1. So your garage slot for Sebastian Vettel is car 0. And then your garage slot for Joe Grenu is car 2. So we'll go ahead and change that back to 1. That way, if we do start up in the game, it will work properly. Let's see. Your garage slot determines driver team status. So your first driver, second driver, self-explanatory. 0 and 1, like I just said, 0 and 1 are used for main drivers. 2 and 3 are used for reserve drivers. Only one slot should be used per driver. And then your driver number is self-explanatory. All right, next up we have your weekend setup. So you'll want to do this before you actually go into the race weekend. So in this menu that we are in now, whether it be my team career mode or driver career mode, say we still have that transfer for Sebastian Vettel. We'll double check that once we get into practice. As you can see, we still have the 21 drivers. So we're going to go ahead and advance to the weekend. And this is where it gets heavy. You don't want to do your weekend setup after you go into the race weekend. You're going to want to do this first. So we're going to go ahead and open our cheat table. We're going to go into weekend setup. And I'm going to go over this. So, your weekend setup allows you to change various parameters of the season's weekend setup. So, your calendar. You can change the calendar. So we have Bahrain there in the background, right? You can change weekend number 1 to, let's say, Vegas. Like I said, there's a value drop down. Change it to Las Vegas. It will update in the game. Like in the hard drive of the game, so to speak, but it will only show as Bahrain. So we'll go into this as an example. So if you wanted to drive multiple of the same race in the same weekend, you can do so. The next part. Oh yeah, before I move on to the next part, there was a Monaco issue in F122, and there was limiting testing on it, so I would suggest for you guys, make sure you do a custom calendar and remove Monaco from the calendar in the game. Do it from in the game. But if you guys want to keep the default schedule in Season 1, you guys can go ahead and do that. I did that for my driver career mode. Otherwise, if you want to avoid that Monaco issue, the safest bet is to remove it from the calendar and replace it with one of the three races, such as Portimao, France, and China. All right, so the next part of it was weather. The seed is different every time, so you can hit the drop down: dynamic, clear, light, cloud, overcast, wet, very wet, or custom. I haven't really messed with the custom here. You can basically go in, change every practice session to a different weather type. So if you're wanting it to be default, you can leave it on dynamic and the game will take care of it. Or if you want a heavy rain race, you can basically do very wet throughout the entire weekend, and go so on and so forth. So an easy way to notice that is that your weather stats will all basically be the same throughout the weekend. So we're going to go ahead and show you guys that in this race weekend, leaving it on very wet. Your time of day is the same thing. You can realistic or choose the time of day that you want to do the race. So you could drive Bahrain or Jeddah in the middle of the day or in the morning, where it wouldn't be realistic, but you can still do it. So like a dusk race in Texas, so to speak, like they did in F120 this season in Texas, the over the sunset on Max Verstappen, I believe it was. Don't take me on that if I was wrong. And then your weekend override, your weekend structure. You're basically drop down and you have a selection between your rate authentic, so whatever the game has it set as, race, sprint and race, or option value. The option value, I believe, is, yes, your weekend structure. And here in the README it says, weekend structure change should only be done from the main menu. If the weekend screen is displaying incorrect or buggy even event order, back out to the menu and back into the game mode. Otherwise, you risk hard locking that particular save slot. So this my team would be hard locked. So we're gonna go ahead and go to that weekend override and authentic. And we didn't go into the race weekend, so we shouldn't have any issues. And the Lua engine pop-up shows if the loaded weekend is displaying incorrect structure, exit the main menu and load back into the weekend. So there's a nice warning there. Alright, before we go into the race weekend, there are some known issues. For the calendar editor, switching current weekend to a weekend with a different weekend structure from Career Hub can result in a hard lock when progressing through practice sessions. You can avoid this by editing the calendar from the main menu and having created the save. So you can edit the calendar and then load into your save file, so to speak. Or you could play it safe and edit the calendar at the beginning of the season after you select the default calendar in game. You have to do it after that, not during it, otherwise you will hard lock the game. Overview timeline still displays original events, only visual bug as progression is based on search results screen. So if we go into the game, I gotta close my README. So if we go into standings, we go to season results, we could see right here the first race is set to Vegas, and then we have that's it. So Vegas was moved to race number 1. Bahrain was swapped with Vegas there in the second to last race. So we're racing Bahrain in the second to last race and Vegas in the first. So it'll show up properly here in the season results screen, just not the in the overview menu. So you see there on the bottom left it shows Bahrain. The next one to watch out for known issues: driver transfers. Chance after making a transfer, exiting the following weekend may result in an endless loading screen. Current causes unknown. Use at your own risk. Backups are strongly encouraged. I haven't ran into that issue. Like I said, I use the transfer tool. I don't use the change team tool. Like I said, you go into your entrance, go to your driver, and you select transfer here to another driver, either from another team or free agent. Career only. Making a transfer during a 3-day contract negotiation period will cause the timeline to lock up. To avoid this, don't make any transfers and let the AI do their automated transfers. If you are already affected by this, undo any transfer you did during the negotiation period. Driver career only. Transferring yourself to another team may cause the game giving you an invalid car part selection screen. Currently, there is no known workaround, so transfer yourself at your own risk. To avoid possibly... So the self-transferring, what I've heard is that Archer Arava, he transfers himself to other teams, updates their money and R&D, and then transfers himself back before progressing. That way, it adds a little bit more storyline to it. Like it says here in the README, I would suggest not to do it. I don't do it. And there is a different cheat table for like R&D and money and stuff like that. I don't know where it's at, but I'm sure you guys can look for it. And then last but not least, to avoid possible piracy reports, as I can't verify ownership of the Championship Edition, I have disabled my team icons on the transfers, as well as all credits to Derpish, Loha, to make this easier, the maker of this F1 Toolbox cheat table. So that is the README for the cheat engine. So we're going to go ahead and go over to the race weekend and make sure our stuff is working properly. And immediately after you guys go into the weekend, it should pop up with the loading screen with the race for that weekend. So you can see practice 1, Las Vegas, round 1 of 23. And if we have the weather set properly, it should be wet. All right, coming into the workstation, you can see here that weather is set for the race weekend. The practice is different and then the race weekend. So you can see one-shot qualifying in the wet rain and a 5% race. And I believe if we go into driver stats, yeah, we don't have driver stats yet because nobody scored. So we'll have that, and we can't go into anything else. Tutorials and all your basic stuff that you get at the beginning of the season. And we're gonna go ahead and go into practice and make sure that driver transfer worked. All right, so we are in the practice session, and like I said, the driver transfer, we're gonna go ahead and double check. And we do, in fact, have Sebastian Vettel there with Alfa Romeo. So that's basically it for you guys for the Loha or Derpish cheat table. If you guys have any other information or questions, you guys can reach out to me on Discord. I am in the Discords that have the cheat table information. And if there is any other information that I don't know about, there's more than likely other people that do have that information. But once again, I've had a lot of people ask me how to use the cheat table with the transfers and etc. So I basically talked with Mark Felix, the one who got permission from Derpish to re-upload the cheat table. I basically talked with him and agreed on making a video for this, even though it's December already and the lifespan of the game is already halfway over. As of right now, on 12/15/23, the cheat table, even though it hasn't had any updates, is still working. So hopefully this video helped you guys out. It would definitely help me out. If you guys like the video, leave a comment for some interaction. If you guys have any questions, you can leave them in the comment. I can answer as best as I can. And maybe consider subscribing too. I've been working on F1 23 videos for a little while now, and I'm getting pretty comfortable in this kind of community or this kind of side of YouTube. So I will see you guys around.